Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church is celebrating 100 years.
It is day 30.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Hill's cooking channel. Today we are going to be cooking in Avi's kitchen, and we are going to be preparing coconut bread, or what we call sweet bread. Now first of all, what you need to do is to make sure that you have all of your ingredients. So we have our recipe here. You need your flour, your sugar, your milk and coconut, your margarine, your lard, and your essence, and your baking powder, and your salt, your nutmeg. All of these ingredients. You need to also have your equipment, your bowl, your baking pans, grease, your loaf pans if you're going to be putting them in your loaf pans. And it is time for me now to put together my sweet bread. Now what I would have done was to weigh out the ingredients. So I have my flour, my whole wheat flour, everything already weighed out and sieved.
I'm adding my coconut, my grated coconut.
My brown sugar for the sweet bread. It is best to use the brown sugar because you get a better color and flavor as much as possible. I also have my baking powder and my spices, nutmeg, cinnamon, it was melted. So what I'm going to be doing the sweet bread by the melted method. There are two methods. You have the rub them method and the melted method. So what I would have done was to put my margarine and my lard in the microwave, or you can put it in a saucepan on the stove and melt it. With the melted method, you're going to rub the fat into the flour. When I do another segment, I'm going to be doing jambons as well. I'll show you how to do the rubbing method. So I basically place most or all of my dry ingredients. I'm adding my liquid. So I have my essence. I have vanilla essence, lemon essence, and coconut essence that will also add flavor to it. And 2 eggs already whisked. You can add your essence to your egg, but we know that the essence not only adds flavor, but it also helps to cut the rawness of the egg. So I'm just going to stir this around a little, mix it up a little. I'm using the spoon because I don't like to touch it up as much as possible. At the end, when I'm ready to bring it together, I'll use my hands. And then we are going to start to add. Let me just put this here in the garbage. So normally I would just check to make sure that I have all of my ingredients, egg, the essence, and the last thing I'm going to add would be my milk. And I'm going to add a little at a time because I don't want it to be too wet. Now some people would take this and put it on the table and mix it with their hands, but I like to mix it in a bowl. So I'm bringing together the ingredients as much as possible using my big metal spoon. And you can see it's coming together. Then I'm going to start adding my milk. So I have about 1.5 cups of milk. We'll add the first half, and bring it together. Sometimes if you pour it all, it might be a bit too wet, and then you have to add more flour to get it back to a stiff consistency. So once I have all of my flour incorporated, I will check the consistency to see that it is the correct consistency. We want a stiff consistency for our sweet bread. Yeah, we're looking good. Now we know that this is a Bajan delicacy. We love our sweet bread. So I'm now using my hands to incorporate the rest of the flour that might be stuck at the bottom. And bring it to make a round ball. Okay, now some people might want theirs a bit more stiff. Depends on how you are doing it, but because I am preparing it for samples, I'm gonna need a little flour. Thankfully I have a small amount of flour left back just in case I needed it, just to get rid of the extra mixture that was stuck on my fingers. So this is basically the consistency that you want. And we are ready to go. Okay, so we're ready now to place our mixture into the baking pan. As you will see, it was greased beforehand, and I started to drop them by the spoonfuls because I'm doing them for a sample, so I don't necessarily have to put them in the loaf pan, but I'll still show you just in case you want to make yours like a loaf, the way how you'll normally see the Bajan one done. And I'll also show you how to do by the spoonfuls. Alright, so that persons can just sample a piece if they want to. So my pan is filled, and what I'm going to do is to take a little mixture that was left back from the milk, and we're going to brush it so that we can get a nice brown color. Try not to overdo it. We don't want too much of it spattered on the baking pan, otherwise it will, you can't get away from this to some extent. It will start to brown and burn, but that will be expected. And then I'm going to take a little sugar and sprinkle it onto the top of the coconut drops, you can say. This would also help to add color when it caramelizes in the oven. Yes, and then I'm going to add a little glacé cherry for presentation purposes. So I've already cut my cherries into some small pieces, and it is not finished yet, but it is looking appetizing.
I'm just going to put a little of the cherry at the top.
This helps to add color, contrasting color to your coconut cake or coconut drops, whatever you want to call them. And this is ready for the oven, and you can bake this in the oven. Because they're small, they're gonna take a short time to bake, at least 15 to 20 minutes. But what I'm going to show you now, if you want to do a loaf, I showed you with a loaf pan. There's a bigger one. Because I'm just doing some for samples, I'm just going to do a small one. And this is a disposable one that you can use, loaf pan. So what you can do, some people roll in flour, but because it is pliable, it's not sticking to my hand, I can just place it into the pan and let it fit the baking pan. If you make yours a little stiffer, some people will roll it out into like a log shape and then put it into the oblong loaf pan. So I'm going to do basically the same thing like I did with the coconut drops. Just going to brush. It could be, some people mix a sugar water too, sugar and water, but because I had extra milk left back, you can use the milk too as well. That helps to give a nice brown color. You can use your knife to score the top of your coconut bread. Sprinkle on your sugar again. So I'm going to add my cherries here too as well. And already you can see the difference. So this is my loaf. If you want to make a loaf, you want to do the coconut drops, you will use a spoon. And we're just going to put this in the oven to bake for at least 15 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes depending, until golden brown. So I'll see you when we are finished. Okay, so they're being placed in the oven. Just to show you our finished product, we have our coconut bread in the loaf pan, and if you want to do it as drops or by the spoons, you can arrange them on your plate. So this is just to show you the end product. I hope that you would have enjoyed this segment and that you can do your own at home.
Bye for now.